And welcome back to another episode of the Unnamed Prep Series. I hope you are very well. Your boy had a boo-boo. I must admit, I had a boo-boo. So I was meant to do a voiceover leg session for today's vlog. However, the memory card, it ran out of memory. So I did have to quickly delete a few bits, but I did manage to film half the session. However, yeah. It's kind of stupid, but anyway, it is what it is. I thought I'd think on my feet and go through with a YouTube Q&A for today's vlog whilst you watch half my leg session, which is all well and good. I actually haven't done a YouTube Q&A in a hot minute, so it's actually not the end of the world. Plus, people like to get some information and some value in these vlogs, so yeah, why not give you some value? Anyway, I'm gonna pick like 5 to 10 questions depending on the time and depending on how much I waffle. We'll see, but yeah, we'll get straight into it. So first question is, what's your take on work-life balance? Does it exist? So I think for most people a work-life balance does exist, but I would say for the people that want to really drive their career at some level, you're gonna have to become a little bit imbalanced at periods of time, right? So essentially most progress occurs in discomfort. I wrote about this on my Instagram story the other day, right? Most progress occurs with discomfort. Most people who stay the same are just comfortable. So that you can have an element within, I suppose, your life where you are like comfortable, then discomfort, then comfortable, discomfort. So you're gonna go through periods of like balance, imbalance, balance, imbalance, right? I think if you just really wanted to drive a business, if you really wanted to drive your career, then you would seek discomfort pretty fucking regularly. So does it ever exist? I think it does, but I do think it comes at the trade-off of the balance situation, comes off the trade-off of you're just going to stay the same, which to some people, by the way, which I'd say like 90% of people in life, they're okay with their job, they're okay with how much they're getting paid. So I think that work-life balance does exist for most people. Again, there'll be periods that you can push and you can become a little bit a little bit uncomfy and a little bit imbalanced with your career. But they're the times you're going to get promotions. They're the times that you're going to get like personal bests with your business, right? That's how to scale a business, in my opinion. Nothing about owning a business is comfortable. So, yeah, I hope that kind of helps. Which supplements? Next question. Which supplement do you take to get that last little bit of fat off? I'm struggling to get it all off. Okay. Yeah, there's no specific supplement that will take the last little section off. That's just like more time and more time dieting. Yeah, I like to get that last little remaining section off. It's more of a balancing act between like, do you get that last little section off or are you taking away from other areas? So yeah, think about it like that. You don't necessarily need to get like every single bit of fat off, especially if it's going to take from something like arms, chest, delts, back, whatever. Is it worth it for like your abs to get in, for your arms to fade? For me, for example, if I get all the way in with my abs, my arms start to fade. So in terms of like a men's physique ultimate look, I'd be sacrificing pretty much my arm and my delt fullness and my pec fullness just for the sake of like absolutely shredded to the bone midsection, right? So I guess it's a case of like, do you actually need to get it off? If you do, then I would not look towards supplements. I would look more so towards just more time dieting. Next question. How much momentum is okay when lifting? A little bit, not a lot. In my opinion, I think people get a little bit... When people chase numbers, they tend to then like almost like completely disconnect from what the movement is actually hitting, right? Say for example, a big one is like bent over row. Bent over row is systemically everywhere within the back. There's not a single area where it doesn't hit. However, when you see people like bent over rowing, you'll see their like knee like cave and they've got like a quad pump. Their hamstrings are fucked because they're essentially trying to hold themselves in like an RDL position. So yeah, in my opinion, some momentum is absolutely fine. I think if you're too strict with it, I don't think you're showing signs of intensity. So there's that. But essentially, if you're like using so much momentum that you can't even pinpoint where that movement's actually hitting, that's too much momentum. So yeah, like anything, there's just like a fine balance between the two. Next question: how's the new business going? Ridiculously well. Yeah, like pretty fucking crazy as well. So I'm very happy with how that's going. Yeah, I cannot fucking complain with how that's going at the minute. It's going very well. Considering the Instagram followers that's got as well, it's only got like 180 followers. It's got like nearly 50 clients. So like yeah, it's going very well. The clients on board are fucking killing it as well. So yeah, it's one of them things where I personally knew it was going to work because it's essentially how I built my business. I'm just showing people how I built my business. So it's not like a copy and paste job, but at the same time, it's like all of the systems and stuff like that I know very well. I know the marketing strategy. I know all of that, how to coach, right? I know all that stuff. So I knew that shit was going to work, and it is working. So that's really cool. We've actually had to cap numbers or capping numbers at the end of this month. And then basically from there, we're going to have a waiting list. So yeah, if you're ever interested in leveling up your online coaching business, get on over pretty fucking quickly because there's very, very, very few spots available for that. In terms of the next question, are you doing the early show that people want to know? No. Reason being is, look, I could do this show. I'm good to go. Like I'm ready to go. My physique is pretty much in. All I need is a carb up realistically, and we're good to go. Now, I'm gonna be. If I did that show, I'd be competing against people who are directly 40 to 50, maybe 60 pounds heavier than me. Like, I'm just gonna get smoked. I know my physique. I know what I'm capable of. Am I on a level where I can be basically on par with people who are that far ahead of me? I don't think so. So yeah, I think that would be more of a demoralizing trip more so than like a warm-up show. I think that I'll come away from it really not tearful, but I come away from it like, why did I do that? And also like don't just like discount the fact that the shows themselves, the show days are very, very long-winded. So that's pretty much my whole weekend fucked. Just doing that, and then I'm gonna have to ultimately pull off everything that I've basically pushed on because obviously we're gonna have to have a carb up. We're probably gonna put on like maybe 1 or 2 kilograms, and then we're gonna have to pull it off and then do a peak week the week after. The whole thing's just a bit stressful. So in my opinion, yeah, I'd rather go all in on this show coming up, the UK DFPA, and then if I potentially like win whatever, then you go to Worlds, and that's like, yeah, that's where potentially the ultimate goal would be. But again, this prep series was all about like showing you guys that yeah, you can travel, you can be a little bit flexible, look at what you can achieve when you're kind of like, I suppose like all in on a goal, right? That's kind of what this is all about. I also just want to see where my physique is at realistically, because without going into politics too much, I just don't think I was judged that fairly in the last show. So yeah, this is a almost a redemption season, I suppose, show, right? Tips for next question. Tips to look for when choosing a coach. Yeah, very simple. To be honest, is go onto their social media and see the results that they are generating and see what other people are saying about them. That's pretty much it. Also, you can ask them questions in the DMs and just see how they react. If they react like a twat, then they're probably not the right coach for you. If they're like holding back information just because it's free, they're probably not the right coach for you. If you slide into someone's DMs and they answer your question and they've given time out of their day to answer your free question, they're probably a good coach for you. Because imagine what the paid service is going to be like. It's going to be pretty fucking good. A couple more questions and then we'll leave you guys to it. I'm reducing calories, but my weight is going up. What the fuck is going on? That to me screams diet fatigue. If I'm pushing a client down and digging and digging and digging, and the stress response is getting larger and larger and larger, and their weight is going up and up and up, to me that's just like, that's diet fatigue. That's what happens when you push too hard within a dieting phase. So in my opinion, what I would do is go for a little diet break with them, And then what will happen is probably your scale weight might increase for a little bit, but then it will just drop back off as soon as you go back into the diet and calories. So yeah, in my opinion, that could be exactly what's going on with you. So instead of like reducing calories, like there's merit in actually increasing it and getting rid of some diet fatigue. That could work very well for you. Last question, I'm getting a burning sensation when using a machined row. Any advice? Yeah, stop doing the machine row. I think that a lot of people, when they go through stuff like this is hurting, this specific movement is hurting me. What should I do? Or like, what should I do to like cue it up and stuff like that? It's a case of like, how many fucking machines are there in your gym that do very, very similar things, right? Can you set up a cable attachment to do the same thing? Probably. Can you set up like dumbbells, for example, to do the same thing? Probably. So it's a case of like, if something is not, like if it's hurting, you're probably best served, instead of like trying to diagnose why this is hurting, spending like 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks on this like one movement, and it's causing pain and burning sensation, of which you're putting yourself into an increased risk of injury. Why not just move on to something that potentially doesn't cause an injury, right? That kind of makes a lot of sense. So the good thing is with bodybuilding and hypertrophy, it's like if you switch to a like for like movement, and like one's causing a niggle, you're swapping to a like for like movement, and this one doesn't cause pain, you're fucking winning. So yeah, anyway, hope you well. If you have any more questions, of course, feel free to slide in the DMs over on Instagram. Hope you well. And yeah, I'll catch up with you on Monday for an official prep update. But yeah, we're getting there. Hope you well. I'll speak to you very soon. Peace.